If you are logging into my team today, this is what matters. Happy Saturday, y'all. We do have some new challenges plus updates on King of the Court. Kind of a surprise at the top of the leaderboard right now. Let's dive right into it. We got all the answers for you. Focus in on your dailies. It is play 3 single player. Should be pretty easy, and we have a lot to grind offline. So this is a free 5,000 MT. We'll definitely take that. With this, we do have exhibitions. Go ahead and pop in and get these done. At least all the ones you can. Free rewards. I'll take care of these in just a moment. 4 challenges, nothing new in the Season 3 Spotlight. We touched on this Full Moon Challenge. It is a bit difficult. All-Star difficulty. It's a semi-good team, and you can only use a diamond. So if you get that done, good on you. I'll probably skip this one. I'm hoping they don't release some kind of Full Moon Challenge later where you need the ball. But who knows? If I get bored, I might hop in there and try to knock it out. Keep focusing on these spotlights. It looks like we officially have a timer. I believe this is pretty much the timer for the end of the season. So if you want either of these players, I do think this Fred VanVleet is a lot of fun. I do recommend getting him done. And of course, we have the weekly free Hall of Fame badge from Jumpstart. I was able to get this done in essentially maybe 1.5 games. You do need a Jumpstart player. Their Amethyst prices are already going down below 10K. I think they'll bottom out around 5K. So it depends if you want to wait or just lose a couple thousand MT because they're going down pretty quick. But definitely get it done in due time. Again, you have 5 days, but definitely something to prioritize. There was nothing new in weekly challenges. Still, if you're finishing up any of these, I recommend you do that. Training challenges have been really helpful for badges. I have been utilizing some of these. Some are a little bit more difficult than others, but definitely fun to do. And of course, you have your signature challenge for a free Hoff badge. Some of these lifetime challenges are worth it. But in the festival, they're giving us a free diamond today, and it's a really easy challenge. I'm kind of happy that it's at least easier. So you need to score 32 points with a Kevin Durant. You should have that free Kevin Durant. If you've been playing a little bit longer since the beginning, you should have another free Kevin Durant, that Amethyst. Either one will do. I use the Amethyst from the locker code. It definitely is tracking. 32 points in a game is very doable in clutch time. Just jack up threes. You almost don't even want to play defense just to keep the game moving, and you should be able to hit enough threes, especially if you're on a lower difficulty, and you'll naturally get his stats done. And just in that clutch time game, use 3 Rockets players. It will be very easy. But if you're still working through some of the things from yesterday, I definitely recommend this pink diamond with the domination. Or that's an amethyst domination and showdown. But anyone's for the pink diamond, like this jumpstart one, this is definitely worth doing. And you could stack, the Kevin Durant stats with this. Jumpstart needs 40 points. You could do this in a domination, get 40 points with a jumpstart player and 32 with Kevin Durant. So if you can stack it, there's so many, and if you're falling behind on some of these challenges, don't worry. Prioritize what's the best value. This Galaxy Opal is definitely worth doing. You should have a pink diamond player from the locker code. The spotlights are just giving you a diamond, so if there's anything to skip, it's these specific spotlights that are a little harder to stack challenges in. It's just 1 diamond, and between the 2, it's like 8 games. So be strategic. I have done them all. I'm grinding here and there. So if you want to do them, great. But if there is anything to skip, it's the spotlights, and prioritize these pink diamonds and Galaxy Opals and the easier diamond challenges like this Kevin Durant. But just keep stacking pieces. We're starting to, more and more people are starting to buy the things that they were thinking about. And Mobley's great. Scotty Barnes is great. I went with Ray Allen. He's great. We know how good Jabari Smith Jr. is as well. So at the top, there's some really, really good options for you to choose. And you're able to map it out. We'll dive into the exchange here in just a second. But map out who you really want. And if you got everybody you want, don't feel like you have to grind just to grind. If you're still chasing after somebody, then yes, knock out all these challenges. But if you feel pretty good on the festival, the challenges are there to help you, but they're not mandatory by any means. 4 season challenges, we're getting so close to All-Star Team Up. I was playing last night and had a lot of fun. We'll put up a little montage maybe later in the video. We'll talk about the live stream. But yeah, we were on stream last night. I'm like 4 or 5 games away now from getting my exchange piece there. Just keep grinding through your mode. There's only 5 days left in the season. 5-6 days, so take care of business, get everything done that you can, especially if you're going for that exchange piece. At this point, I think I'll get 3 legend badges, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I love those legend badges. So I'll probably go that route. But definitely just keep on your grind. There's no, special challenge this weekend like win 10 in showdown. So you should really be able to focus on the mode that you're specifically grinding, as I did last night, locking in to All-Star Team Up. With that said, King of the Court is live and well, and you can see some people have already hit the ground running. The tiers have kind of shaped out to pretty much what we thought they would be. Tier 1's at 10,000. That will trickle up. I think Tier 1 will be closer to like 11,000, maybe 11,500. Could hit that 12 mark. We'll see. Tier 2 last week was much closer to like 8,600. So I think these will kind of keep trickling up during the day and definitely into tomorrow. So if you're sitting safely in Tier 2 right now, it may not be safe depending on how the points go. But you see that huge drop between Tier 2 and Tier 3. And in my opinion, the rewards isn't that big of a drop. I mean, yes, it's a Galaxy Opal and a Pink Diamond. But as we talked about yesterday, to grind from Tier 3 up to Tier 2, you really got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because Tier 2 is not only just 4 wins, but 4 pretty dominant wins. And up at the top, we see Cash Money J. I believe that is Carlo221, another fellow MyTeamer. Of course, in second is Ty, who is a really well-known YouTube MyTeam creator. And so both those guys are beating people by a lot. To get 1,300 divided by 4 is what, like 3,300, 3,400. To get up to that, you're beating opponents by 50, 60 points. This point system for King of the Court is a bit unique, but your typical kind of sweaty back and forth game, you're looking at 1,700 to 2,500 points at the max. If you really want to squeeze more points out, you can adjust your lineup. I believe you get more points if your lineup is less overall. I'm pretty sure Ty just runs 5 pink diamonds and a complete gold bench and just doesn't sub. I'm not taking that strategy. I will play probably 3-4 games, maybe all of them on tonight on stream. I'll probably do 2 or 3 tonight on stream. We'll see how many points we get, but if I can nestle myself comfortably into Tier 3, I'll be pretty happy with that. If we go on a streak and I'm sniffing Tier 2, maybe we'll try to prioritize that possibly tomorrow morning. But yeah, have fun with this mode. I'm seeing so many good lineups from you guys. A lot of you guys are ready. That's what I said last time, and some of you guys are really good. We're seeing people in the chat talking about, beating some really good squads in showdowns. So personally, I found King of the Court lineups to be at least comparable to Showdown, if not a little less sweaty. We know that there is skill-based matchmaking in Showdown, and it's a little bit different in King of the Court. So, hey, it may be the best mode to dip your toes in besides like Park or All-Star. If you want to come in and test your lineup out, it's definitely a great mode to do it, and we'll be getting some pieces along the way. And again, just depending how many pieces you have, it may or may not be worth it for you to grind for an extra pink diamond or Galaxy Opal. It really just depends, but keep on the grind for your season. There's a lot of fun stuff to play this weekend, whether you're going to get sweaty in King of the Court or just grind some breakout and keep stacking snowballs, whatever works for you. Just have fun while you do it. Then we will pop over to the Winter Festival Exchange again. I've spent so many pieces, but I'm still stacking more and more amethyst pieces just from simply grinding the game. Probably getting close to a new diamond piece, and so on and so on. And really at this point, I'm back to my original strategy, which is just grind the game and hold. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get up to 5 Galaxy Opal pieces, but tomorrow we do have the 5-game win streak in Park, and that will definitely be a focus. We're gonna have to balance that with King of the Court. Probably go live tomorrow during the day and try to get my 5-game streak. So if you can get 1 dark matter piece on Sunday, I mean, hypothetically, what is that, 2 Galaxy Opals? So I'd be pretty much halfway to Mobley or Scotty Barnes, and it's like, how many pink diamonds do I have right now? I don't think I really have that many. Oh, I have 4, so I pretty much have like almost 3 Galaxy Opals. Then if I get a pink diamond from King of the Court, plus some more challenges, I might be able to sneak my way to a Scotty Barnes or Evan Mobley, which I would be very happy to do. But if I do fall a little short, I'm just going to go on a major spending spree and just get, everything that I see that sounds interesting, probably all the dynamic duos, maybe even a Tis the Season 90 plus, but quite expensive, 2 pink diamonds for essentially an amethyst card. Not too excited about that, but just keep stacking and just get strategic. It's a 5-day counter at this point, so we can really lock in to see what we want to get. You'll see the timers do say 8 days, but we're only getting pieces for 5 days. So they give you 3 extra days to spend your pieces essentially, but you have 5 days to earn more pieces. So this will be here a few days after they're giving them out, if you just miss a day or two and want to come back and spend all your pieces. Something I want to talk about today, and we've talked about it before, but it's inventory management. Hopefully we're starting to collect a lot of really cool cards. As we've talked about, this game is a card collecting mode. So the ultimate goal is just to collect cool, fun cards and build out cool, fun lineups. And what I recommend doing with your player inventory is locking in is a good thing, especially for certain cards like this Ray Allen. Like I can't even add him to an exchange, and I've, invested some resources. So like he's not going anywhere. Go ahead and lock him in. You can see I've locked in over 500 players, and every 100 players you will get 10,000 MT. So it's kind of worth it. They're not the best rewards, but there's definitely certain cards you don't want to lock in, like this Rudy Gobert, for example. He's not the best pink diamond. I'm never going to use him. So if I lock him in, it's kind of maybe not worth it, and I could get a free Hall of Fame badge pack for him. So I'm not going to take the badge just yet, but I'm definitely not going to lock them in. And what my mindset is, they do release new exchanges throughout the year. So there could be different, badge exchanges later on that require a pink diamond. So for the more higher tier cards, you don't necessarily need to lock them in, especially if they are eligible for exchanges. A lot of these reward cards are not eligible, like Jack Sigma, you can't put into an exchange. But these ones, even though they're untradeable, they still are eligible for exchanges. So worth holding on to them, and either, if you wanted to lock a Rudy Gobert in for badges right now, or almost made a big mistake there, if you wanted to add him to the exchange right now, that could be worth it. Or if you just want to hold on to him, that makes sense as well. But don't just space out and accidentally lock him in like I almost just did. But yes, that's one strategy on management. And with that, wild gems, I recommend you never lock in. So if you have any kind of wild gem, we're hoping for exchanges coming, and so I'm saving all these wild gems. You can see he is eligible for a couple different exchanges right now, none that I'm really interested in. But don't lock your wild gems in. That will give you some freedom later on. Of course, never lock in a player that's auctionable. You're going to sell those back later. So just keep that in mind. As you're getting new cards, lock in the ones that aren't going anywhere and save the ones that you think, could be eligible for good exchanges later, and definitely save anything that's unauctionable. And personally, I try not to carry too many auctionable cards. Like for the most part, if it's auctionable, I'll probably try to clear it out. I'm keeping this Garland because he's eligible for some of the exhibitions. This Marcus Smart was kind of meta, but to be honest, I'll probably just send him back to my auctions here pretty soon. I was sniping a few of these guys. I got him at a pretty good price, so might just send him on back to the auctions. For other things to focus in your inventory, coaches, you really just need one, and they give you so many rewards that are unsellable. Like I have this Don Nelson from Domination, but also Rick Carlisle from the season. I think you get Shea from Rep. So all these coaches are pretty much unsellable. But if you have a couple that are, maybe they go for something in the auction house, but probably not. Like if you look in the auction house and you already see one up for 250, just sell them for the 125. People aren't even buying them at 250, so there's no reason to list them. Just take the 125. And that's pretty much the same for most of these, auxiliary things like jerseys and shoes. I make my own jerseys. If you've all seen the videos, I got some really cool jerseys, so I don't need any of these jerseys. The golds can hold a premium, so definitely check in the auction house. Like I'll pop in here. There's kind of a few up. Even this one I might just sell for 75, but definitely take a peek at some of the gold jerseys. Some of these do hold a little premium, but anything silver that's sellable, I'm just gonna quick sell. Like no one wants these bronze jerseys. Just take your 25 MT. And between making your own jersey and all these reward jerseys, you really will never be in a pinch where you need a jersey. So feel free to sell as much as you want when it comes to uniforms. Court floors is the same thing. A couple of the golds are good. Maybe make a little bit of extra MT. But for the most part, you can just come through and sell your bronzes. I recommend you design your own court. It's one of the coolest things in this mode. You guys seen some of my gameplay videos. I have a really cool custom court that I think is really fun. So I'm not using any of their courts. I'll use my own. So I'm just going to sell all these. If anybody wants a gold Raptors floor, look, this one's going for 10,000 and 7,000. I will send that to the auction and list it for like 3,000. You can get 3,000 for a quart. I'm really happy. But these bronze quartz, no one's buying them, so I'll just sell that for 50. And it's the same thing for even playbooks. You need one good playbook. I have the bronze Trailblazers playbook. Everyone kind of likes that. And I'll come in here like once a week and just try to clean out all my logos, like anything that's sellable, just kind of either quick sell, or if it's worth something on the auction house, sell it. And really the only important things here is that you really want to like lock in on are like takeovers, your players, your coaches, and then the big one, the badges. And we've had a couple questions on these, so we're going to do a couple things. One, we'll do a high level overview of badge and you know, some mindset behind it. But I'm also linking a video below from Ty Debo, who is a great content creator. He definitely knows his stuff, and he has a pretty in-depth tier list on every single badge for NBA 2K26, what they do and how important he really thinks they are. So I think that's a good video. I will link that. Always happy to share other, you know, valuable content from other creators. But in general, you know, you can do a few things with badges. You can flip these things, and people make a lot of money on badges, so keep that in mind. I like to stockpile them and just use them when I need them. And of course, you know, the more valuable ones like Legend and Hall of Fame are a lot of fun. But as far as like what badge is really good, it depends on the player. You know, if you have a player that is really, really bad shooting, but you at least want to make him serviceable, then you want to start adding the shooting badges to him. Conversely, you don't want to give a guy a badge that his stats are just so bad he's not going to really even be impacted by it. So a player for a specific example that I'll use is Ray Allen. You know, I just got that Ray Allen and he only had 21 badges. So I had to be really strategic with the 5 badges that I added. And the mindset was kind of, you know, what is this card going to do for me? You know, he's missing some pretty crucial badges. And what I realized is he's not going to be a great rebounder, even though I would like to maybe round that out for him, but he's just not going to be. But he's missing so many crucial playmaking badges, and I need him to do that role for me, and his stats are at least going to be serviceable where the badge will boost it. So a badge can take something that's mediocre stat-wise and make it to good. And so for him, I gave him some playmaking badges like Bailout and Unpluckable, things along that nature, and then I gave him Brick Wall just to make him a little bit more strong on the exterior. But as far as what badges are really important just in general, I do think Brick Wall is really important. When it comes to shooting, Deadeye is really, really important, as is Limitless Range if you are trying to extend it. Lightning Launch is absolutely one of my favorite badges. I try to have almost every single one of my players have Lightning Launch on them. On-Ball Menace is incredibly important. And it goes back to what we talked about in the lineup video, you know, the 5 most important things. Size and speed is 1 and 2, but then it's 3, defense, and dunk. And so I think about that with my badges, like Lightning Launch enables me to dunk, Limitless Range is 3, On-Ball Menace is D. So when you're coming in here to your collection and just looking at badges and being like, what badge do I add to what player? Just think, what part of the game is it going to impact? Is it going to be 3 Ds or dunks? And what does this player need to do for me? Or what does he need to do better for me? So sometimes badges are just making something that he does well even better. Sometimes badges are trying to kind of fill in the gaps. But they all are relatively good. Some badges, you know, people say, oh, that badge doesn't do anything. But it just depends on the situation. Like even these post badges, if you do have a big, you really do want all these post-up badges on him. On a point guard, they're just not going to be as important. So when it comes to badging out your player, try to get him from good to great in certain areas, or even great to elite. But be strategic. You don't need to put Ankle Assassin on your starting center, like Cockbrenner, for example. I put, 4 badges on him. I sure wasn't putting Ankle Assassin because it's just not applicable to him. But there definitely is some key badges in each theme, whether it's post, shooting, playmaking. So check out the video from Ty Debo. I listed a few of my favorites here. But there's definitely a world of knowledge in badges, and just get comfortable with them. I think every single one does serve a purpose. Some are more universal and need to be on every player more than others. But each one, there's not one badge that I'm just like, I never use this badge. Every single one of these badges is utilized at a certain point. And they give you a good description. You can just come through here and kind of read each one, and that's a good start. But there's definitely some good content out there on how to get even better at it. So just a little high level overview on your inventory. I know it can seem overwhelming. Usually once a week, I just come in here and kind of clean house, either sell a bunch of stuff or put a bunch of things on the auction house, like jerseys and stuff. But it's tough. And speaking of the auction house, look, I say it's tough because I already got 53 of 60 auctions in there, plus 34 pending outcomes. So, making room for jerseys and basketball sometimes is just not a top priority for me. And that's where I end up maybe quick selling a couple things that I shouldn't. But the auction house is definitely live and well today. Jumpstart is in, really full force now. We've had 24 hours for the dust to settle, so we're getting a decent idea of at least these starting prices. The dark matters are quite rare. Kawhi's probably going to be ending towards like 3 million, at least for a little bit, but wouldn't be surprised within a couple weeks if he's a little closer to 2 million, 1.5. If you're saving up for him, he is a really good card. It'd be a big investment, but you could definitely, move and groove with the dude. Looks like Larry's going to be ending closer to 8, not quite breaching that 1 million mark, which is kind of cool. I hope he keeps dropping and is eventually in that 5 to 600 range. Would definitely consider him at that point. And some of the pink diamonds are really, really cool. This Ilgauskas actually has piqued my interest. 7'3", his build is just huge. He can shoot the three. Big question mark around his speed. It's not just the ball handle, but I'm actually a little bit worried about this speed and agility. With Kalkbrenner, he has better speed and much better agility. He has a similar ball handle. His perimeter defense is actually quite a bit worse, and he's a couple inches shorter. So Ilgauskas might be a little better than Kalkbrenner. Of course, his price is quite significantly more. But this Monte Ellis card, this looks like a fun card. He's always really fun. Probably not considered meta. He's only 6'3", but I actually think this card can compete at a pretty high level. An amazing three-pointer, that 95 driving dunk, which isn't too common in point guard eligible players, 97 ball handle, 95 pass accuracy, quite good defense with perimeter at 90 and agility at 98. I think he's going to be just fine. Look at this speed. So this could be a really fun card. He is, I believe he's on buyout right now. Let's double check. I just want to see what his on-ball menace is. Doesn't come with on-ball menace, so that's a bit of a hole. We would definitely have to add that to him. But let's see. Yeah, it looks like he is below 100K. Yeah, 88. So I already would put him on the list of cards you could potentially snipe. Here's the thing. These prices will still settle. So if he's 80 today, it could definitely fluctuate. I think it will keep going down. Sometimes these pink diamonds come out and they like hit a bit of a low, and then people realize how good they are and they can kind of spike back up. I don't know if that will happen with Monta. I think this is going to be a good card just to kind of look to grab around 60, maybe 70, and you could probably flip towards 80. But that base price could get a little closer to 70 as time goes on. But some very fun cards in this set, and I do think the best way to really look through them all is over here in the collections page. Particularly, some of the pink diamonds is Amon Thompson. Everybody wants to use this card. I was, playing last night and everyone's like, I'm waiting for an auction to end. He's really good. I would be curious about the jump shot. If somebody has any information on the jump shot, put that in the comments below. I am curious. Only a 78.3, but everything else is absolutely amazing. 95 driving dunk. He can rebound. 98 vertical. This will be a really fun card to use. If you're looking for a defensive shooting guard, he's obviously going to be elite. Jared Wallace is always a great card. He just is a 3-and-D, kind of a cone player, but very explosive. I was playing with one last night, actually, that was playing really well. So this can be a really fun card. And let's see what his price is getting after. He's a buy now. This is actually really good value. If you're looking for a budget small forward, I would consider, I know there's a lot of good small forwards out right now. Looks like he's down towards 70. I could see him even bounce up. That 70 could be something you can make profit on if you listed him at like 79. Maybe not with 75s listed, but that's a brand new listing. Good card there. You can see some on bids. Wouldn't be a bad idea. I might not win this, but I'm going to put kind of a cheeky like 55, 60K bid on this card. We'll see if we end up winning that one. But definitely just monitor these cards for now. We're trying to understand what their bottom price is. This Naz Reid is a bit elevated compared to the other diamonds. He's actually sitting around 25 to 30 right now. And, being realistic, the more meta diamonds from past sets, like look at Buzelas and Bailey, they've, settled closer to 40 to 50, but when they first came out, they were a little higher than 25. So I don't see him like bumping up to 40 to 50 like an Ace Bailey or Buzelas. But, maybe when he's out of packs, he rests around 30. I think his price will keep going down over the next few days. So if we can snag Naz Reid's closer to 15, 20, definitely should be some profit in the future. And this Dyson Daniels, considered a very meta card. I think this will be a tough card to flip for a while just because he's really in high demand, but then there's also just a ton and none are on buyout. So you're really risking just like, the luck of the bids, so to speak. And he's a diamond. So if you want to get him and just put a bunch of badges on him, you'll probably make some MT. Here's a good example. Here's a base one ending at 130. Here's somebody he came in and added, 8 Hall of Fame badges that he filled out and mostly filled up most his slots. And he's gone up about 70K. We'll see what he ends at, but 8 badges, an extra 70, 80K. It's a pretty good ratio, but it's up to you if you think that's the best way to make the most on a flip by adding badges. To me, I've had some rough experiences buying a card like this and adding all my fancy badges, and then he ends up selling for like 20K more, and I'm like, great, between tax, and I just lost like 5 Hall of Fame badges. Kind of missed out on that. But I've heard the opposite success story where they're able to get a good card, put a bunch of badges, and make a ton of MT. So share your success stories if you're able to get that done. It's definitely a strategy that you can use. And then just keep an eye on some of your other snipes and other cards. Buzelis has kind of gone up a little bit. So a good example of how volume can kind of dictate price, especially for these meta cards. He's really closer to 60 now. We are able to grab these kind of consistently at 40. Not so much anymore, but I will still try. I might have to move my base bid up a little bit higher. But we're still moving and grooving in the market, having a lot of fun, and just doing our best to, make MT where we can. We're sitting at around 2 million MT. We have a couple auctionable cards in the lineup, nothing too crazy. And then, of course, we have so many assets just sitting, trying to be sold. I'm being a little stingy. I'm pretty much trying to corner the Kenny Smith market at this point. So it's a good example of when you buy one card and then you're trying to set a price for it, and all of a sudden you're buying like 3, 4, 5. So I'm kind of cutting myself off from Kenny Smith. I think he will go up long term, but these dynamic duos are just a bit more of a long-term play. There you can see there's a good amount in there, but I just can't help myself. I will buy him at 12.5. I do think that's a good price. That's what I'm trying to get him at. I haven't, spent a ton. Most of the ones I'm getting are 15 or below, so could probably sell now for profit. But with these dynamic duos, I'm going off of last year, but I do think these dynamic duos will hold their value long term. So if you're willing to do some more long-term investment, the Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears duo should be good all year long. And same with that Kenny Smith and Shaq, especially once it goes out of challenges. I think people will be looking to use that card. But yeah, just keep an eye, Pink Diamonds, whether it's Wild Gems or WNBA players, or even just the new set to get an understanding on their price. We got all these different filters. Have fun in there, and let me know how you're moving and grooving. A lot of the comments in the live are talking about how much fun the auction house is. I fully agree with you guys. I definitely think it's a world of its own. Because I think it seems like maybe 60-70% of my time is happens kind of playing the game, doing challenges. You can see the same guy. Probably about 30% of the time I'm sitting here in the auction house, dude. Magic John, making moves, trying to grow this MT and have fun along the way. With that, guys, appreciate everyone tapping in. We'll throw up some highlights from the live last night. It was really fun. We're really just hanging out at this point. I was able to play with my boy Dalton. He was in the chat. He put his hand up. We had the first ever guru to viewer assist. I hit him with a pass from Magic Johnson, who was hooping a bit. And then we pulled out some like Pokemon cards and sports cards. So it was really just more of a chill vibe. Tonight might be a little more sweaty. I'm going to be locked in on King of the Court, but I definitely want you all there. If you see me live, should be around 7 Central. Come say what up. I might be locked in the game, but I'll be using my timeouts to say what up to chat. But we're going to keep it going, guys. I really appreciate all the support. I hope you're having a great Saturday. Much love and peace.